Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey, and in this short video I'm going to show you a few of my favourite Photoshop Elements 9 tips and tricks. Now, Photoshop Elements 9 has some great new features, some small, some big. I mean, there's small things like the ability to click on share here and actually share your pictures directly onto Flickr, onto Facebook, which is massively popular, or even SmugMug. Now that's quite nice, but I'm going to show you a few photography things as well, because that's what I do. I'm a photographer. So I'm going to show you how I can get a panoramic together really quickly. So I've got a sequence of pictures here that join together to make a panorama, and they do join together. For example, you can see right here that we have this kind of furrow in the ground. Well, on the next picture, there it is there too. So it is a panorama, a sequence of overlapping images, and to join them together, I'm going to come to File, choose New, and Photo Merge Panorama. Now, Photo Merge Panorama has been around for the previous few versions of Photoshop Elements, but it's been overhauled in Elements 9. Right at the end, you'll see exactly what I mean. So first of all, layout. Well, we have the auto layout here, as well as plenty of other choices. Stick to auto. It works 9 times out of 10, if not more. We'll add in the open files. Now that's the 5 pictures that make up my panorama, and I'll click OK. Now, Photo Merge Panorama will gather the 5 images together, make one brand new document, and put the images as like a jigsaw puzzle really. It'll line them all up. It'll also sort out any exposure errors from one picture to another. And this is what we get. And we get a pretty good panorama. I mean, that's not bad at all. It's stitched together really well. In fact, you'll be hard pressed to see the join. But what you will be able to see is this checkerboard pattern round here. Now the checkerboard pattern is saying there's no pixels there. It's saying, Gavin, you've taken a brilliant picture, except you haven't got it absolutely square. In fact, I've gone sort of arc-shaped. So this is a fault of the photographer, not the software. And in previous versions of Elements, I would now spend time trying to fill in these edges. But in Elements 9, we now have clean edges, and it says, would you like me to automatically fill in the edges? Yes, please. So this will automate a complicated process and turn the whole thing into a fast operation. So it'll work out the edges, find out what's inside the picture, and then intelligently fill the edges in, just like that. And it's brilliant. It really is a superb looking panorama. Okay, so that's one little thing I'm going to show you. Let me just close that down. Now, that uses something called Content Aware. Now, Content Aware in panoramas, well, that's kind of automatic, but we can also do Content Aware in other pictures as a brush. So, for example, I really like this little fella here, this little fluffy bee. He looks lovely, doesn't he? But I don't like his kind of blurry neighbour next to him. Now, to get rid of that in previous versions, it would have been the clone tool, and I would have spent ages cloning. But now I use Spot Healing Brush, because Spot Healing Brush also has Content Aware. Now that's the same Content Aware that we used in the panoramas, but now I can just paint over my little bumblebee friend here like that, like so, lovely. And when I let go, Content Aware will look at the bumblebee, look at what's around the picture, and try and work out what would have been behind the bee. And it's that quick and that simple. A few more clicks here and there just to fine-tune the result. Superb. So we can have a little look at before and after. So that was before with our bumblebee there, and that's after. Seamlessly removed from the scene using Content Aware. Okay, so that's 2 really good features of Photoshop Elements 9. Let me show you one more. Now, I'm going to open a picture here that is a nice little picture, but the effect I want to do is quite advanced. Now, Photoshop Elements is designed for all photographers from beginner to advanced. So in the full edit, you get all of the tools that are available to you to do whatever you want to do. In the quick edit mode, you get a very limited number of tools which will quickly get your image the way you want it to look. And guided, now guided is brilliant. Guided gives you all the power of the full version of Photoshop Elements, but it teaches you along the way. So for example, if you want to learn how to use the crop tool, click on crop. It'll tell you down on this box on the right hand side and show you. Now let's cancel out of that because I want to do something a lot more advanced. I'm going to come down to out of bounds. Now, out of bounds is a brilliant effect and something that used to be really complicated. But with Elements 9, it's become easy as anything because you just follow the steps. So down on the right hand side here, well, you get this little preview. It gives you a before and after, so you can see the effect you're going to make. You can even watch an online video tutorial if you want to. But we're just going to follow the steps. So step 1, click on the Add Frame button to get started. Okay, I'll do that. Click on the Add Frame button. What's the next step? Step 2, move the frame by dragging the corner handles. Okay, so let's move the frame around just as we're told. So what we're making here is a base for our out of bounds effect to sit on. And then step 3 is to add some perspective holding Control, Alt and Shift. Control, Alt, Shift, or the entire left side of the keyboard, as I like to call it, because that's basically what it is. And when you've done that, click on the tick. Okay, we'll click on the green tick. What next? Next is frame width. And again, it explains what to do. It explains that you need to drag out these little corner handles here just to put a bit of a frame around my picture, like that. And we'll try and get it reasonably even. Something like that. There we go. Yeah, that'll do. That looks good. And again, click on the green tick. Okay, so we're nearly there. Next thing is to select the extension. The extension is the part of the picture that's going to stick out from the frame. So let's click on the Quick Selection tool, and I will extend my image by making a selection. Now, the Quick Selection tool is the best selection tool I've found in Photoshop for years because it makes a selection and it makes it quick. I mean, what better name could you give it, really, I suppose? And finally, we have Create Effect. Click the Create Out of Bounds button and it'll create the effect. That quick, that simple. Now, if you want to stylize it, you can do that. You can add in more depth with the shadows. I'm just going to add in a gradient behind, so we'll click OK, and there you go. Now, that looks pretty good, and it really is as quick and as simple as that. But if you get more involved inside of Photoshop Elements and you want to take more control, you can simply jump back to the full option. And here we have all of the layers, all of the styles, all of the layer masks that Photoshop Elements made to create the image. And it does it all automatically behind the scenes. But if you want to, you can always fine-tune your image. For example, maybe when you want to just sort of take out the windows there and there, like that. And I'm just going to add a little bit of, there we go. So I can further enhance my picture after I've used the guided steps. So there you go. There's 3 or 4 fantastic things that you can do with Photoshop Elements 9.